Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the Greeks. This is a National Geographic docu-series. It's one season, it's only 3 episodes, and each of the episodes are around 52 minutes or so each, and this is from 2016. So this gives a pretty in-depth but not dry description of the rise of the Greek civilization, what we know as the Greek civilization. It's gone by many different names over the years before it became the classical Greece that we know. I only watched the first episode, but this is one of those few documentary series, like really short, like again, 3 episodes. Like there's a lot of those on National Geographic where there's just 3 episodes miniseries about a specific topic, and it's usually mummies and sharks and whatever else. But in this case, it's the civilization that is responsible for so much of at least Western culture. This touches a little bit, the obviously Asian cultures, China, and everything else. That a lot of that rose up at somewhat the same time, in many cases earlier, but when it comes to things such as literally coming from cavemen to the Neolithic period, all the way up to the Bronze Age, you get to see what it took to get there, and what came out of that, and how very much by the Bronze Age ended around 1000 BC, it was gone. What they had built up so much was gone. But eventually, what we know today as our sciences, philosophy, language, archaeology, architecture. They use a lot of archaeology to figure a lot of this stuff out. But so much of what would evolve, and just even the concept of democracy is something that held that was birthed in Greece. Now, Greece has had its ups and downs, and at the time of this filming, Greece, well before the global pandemic, Greece was already not in a good situation financially, despite how beautiful it is and how important it is to world history. It's been in debt. It's not been a good place to, I don't know, be financially stable, I guess, unless you're super rich already. I don't know. But that's here nor there. I think that's going to probably start hitting in the 3rd episode. But we get everything that sort of brings us up to the era in which we get to see the Parthenon and so much other centers of culture that we know Greece to be. This shows us how stories of gods and fire and Prometheus and everything else that sort of became the foundation and the inspiration for fighting back against the things that would keep them in place. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of, and part of their philosophy is if there's something that's keeping you from making your life better, fight for it. Fight against it to fight for a better life. And that's not like it's back then, I guess it was maybe his original idea, or they thought it was, because again, the world wasn't connected the way it is now. But yeah, this is what came out of this has been adapted all around the world in many ways. So this, like I said, this is just the first part. It's a very early part. And it's not exactly a time of glory either. There's slavery and there's lots of human rights, issues. Let's call it that. And there's a lot of mystery as to what happened to certain cultures. I mean, trade, just the location alone is responsible for creating levels of trade between different parts all over the Mediterranean, from Egypt to all around there. I don't want to necessarily, because Israel didn't exist back then, but all around that whole area, all the rivers and everything else. And Greece necessarily wasn't exactly the most ideal spot compared to, say, Egypt, which had the Nile and everything else. It's kind of remarkable that it even became what it eventually became. But there are a lot of echoes from that early era that led to its downfall before it rose again, like a phoenix. Before it rose again, and it echoes to what we go through today. There's a lot of inequality in peoples and the rich and the poor and everything else, and a lot of that led to their destruction. I wonder if we could learn lessons and do what's necessary to make lives better for everyone. Don't know, but I think this is really interesting. I almost think I might continue watching this. To me, this is pretty interesting. It's documentaries can be kind of dry, and I can imagine this is the kind of thing that might be shown in a classroom. When the teacher, like a history class, when the teacher doesn't want to teach at all, or they're forbidden to teach certain subjects, and they just go, Greece should be safe. We could probably, do 3 episodes of series on Greece, right? We won't get in trouble from the government, right? If you're in Florida or Texas. You never know. I think it's worth checking out if you have any interest in any of the things I talked about and where it came from. Philosophy, architecture, math, science, everything else. Oh, by the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of the commentators in this. If you know who he is, astrophysicist and everything else. So yeah, it's kind of cool. There's a lot of people talking in this that are notable in their fields, but the one I really knew was Neil deGrasse Tyson. So worth checking out. Let's pick another number for tomorrow.
141.
141. Tomorrow's episode is brought to you by the number 141. Come on. Where are you? Almost there. Eureka. That's exactly what it is. Eureka. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be watching. It's a series. I can't think of what it is. It's not that thing that used to be on Sci-Fi Channel. I know that. But there's a thing called Eureka. It's a series. We'll probably just watch one episode. And we'll see. I'll come back here tomorrow and tell you all about it. Eureka on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.